Hello and welcome. Kim Henderson here from Just for Fun Cookie Co, and welcome to our first session of our subscription program. So I'm really excited that you've chosen to do this. I'm excited to share my love of baking with you so that you can have fun in your own home and create the same things in your home. And you never know where that might lead. It might lead to you creating a business down the track, or it might be just something that you want to do for fun. So I'm really excited to get started. Today's session we're actually going to start with the basics, and I'm just going to share a couple of recipes, the vanilla cookie recipe and our gingerbread recipe. And I am also going to share the royal icing, and that is the main icing that I use through my cookie decorating. We will have times where we will use fondant, and I'll share that with you as well, but royal icing is my favourite, and I get so many remarks from customers and that saying these taste amazing, and I believe it's to do with the royal icing in combination with the actual cookie as well. So yeah, really excited to get going and have fun with you. So I'm going to pop the apron on. So if you've got one too, because I know I make a mess, especially when it comes to flour. Oops. And yeah, getting stuff everywhere. So let's pop your aprons on, and I've got a list of ingredients. I forgot to say that too. So your list of ingredients and the recipes are also in your files, so you can grab those out and get prepared with all the ingredients. I will have templates for different things along the way. We will be doing cakes and cookies, anything to do with baking. We might even have some savoury things along the path, just so that we can have some fun and variety. And yeah, I hope you really enjoy this series. So let's get into it. Okay, so now we are jumping in to start the dough. We're going to do the vanilla cookies first of all. And I am using a mix master. So if you don't have one of these, you can use a handheld mixer. It just, when you're doing a lot of dough over time, the handheld mixers are pretty hard to use. So if you can invest in getting one of these, you don't have to, this is a KitchenAid. I had a couple of other ones. I was just trying to think of the brand that I had that I really loved. Oh, Kenwood. It was a Kenwood brand. But I think you can get ones like Breville that are a little bit cheaper and things like that in the supermarkets and the shops. So go and find something like that you can use, and then it'll make your dough making a lot easier, or your baking a lot easier. But if you're just going to do this for a little bit of fun here and there, the handheld mixers are fine as well. So anyway, so this is my KitchenAid, and it always comes with a couple of paddles and a whisk, and we also have a dough hook, which I haven't got here at the minute. But today, the main one that I'm going to use for the dough is this paddle here. And this one here has a little scrapey side thing. That's more to do with cakes and things like that, so it gets right to the edge, or the icing. But this one we want to have it so that it moves around and it combines like a dough. We don't actually use the dough hook in here, just because we need it to mix a little bit more. So this has a bit more of a mixing capacity. First of all, we're going to pop that on, and we're going to measure out our butter. So the butter is just at room temperature. So I'll take the bowl off here, and I'll pop it on some scales. And we want to have 175 grams, and it is room temperature, so it's pretty soft here. And the reason you want it to be room temperature is because you want it to all mix in very easily. If it's hard, it just takes a long time to get it to soften and join with the sugar. So we want to have it so it's soft and easy to combine. So I'm going to do 175 grams. Too much. As you can see, it's pretty soft. I've just got it so that you can use it, you'd be able to put it onto bread easily. So we want to make that 175, or roughly around that. Just put that over here. And then you're going to have 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and I'll pop that in, caster sugar that is. And we use the fine caster sugar instead of normal sugar, just because if you can use normal sugar, but if you use it, it adds a little bit crunchy texture, like you can actually taste the little bits of sugar, whereas the fine one just mixes in and makes the bicky quite smooth when you're eating it. So we're going to pop that on and mix that up. And we're going to mix that until it's nice and creamy and fluffy. So that might take a few minutes. We want to make sure that it's all combined and nice and white and fluffy. So it's a pretty basic recipe, but it tastes really yummy and you'll love the smell coming through your kitchen. Turn that down and wipe off the beaters. I'll show you. So if you can see, it's pretty creamy, the sugar and it's not like a very bright yellow color anymore, it's more light. So that's looking pretty good. Like that. And so what we're going to do now is crack the eggs in one at a time, and we want to do it one at a time so that it combines nice and evenly. I find that with this recipe, if you do pop the eggs in and then it looks very curdled, like it'll look lumpy and weird, it's okay still. If you start to put the flour in, it'll all come together. But it is nice if you can do it where it's, we'll crack one egg. So I cracked them into another cup because I have done it before where I have cracked it straight into the bowl and it's been an off egg, and then you lose all of your nice butter and that you've just used. And butter's not cheap at the moment, so we're just going to crack one in a time, and then I'll keep that mixing. So letting that mix in a little bit. And just turn it down a little bit as you put the next one in. So we have, actually we'll only have 2. I was going to do a double recipe then. So we only want 2 eggs in there. So normally I'm baking for a whole lot of people, so lots of orders. So I normally do a double batch, but this time around I'm only doing a single batch, because if you're just doing this at home, you won't need 60 cookies. So a batch normally makes me around 60 cookies, a double batch, sorry. So this single batch will make you around 25 to 30 cookies, depending on what size. So we've got 2 eggs in there. We're going to pop in some vanilla. So just some vanilla extract, about a teaspoon. And then we're going to add the sugar, the flour. So I've got the self-raising flour, and I have not sifted any of these. I'm just popping them straight in. I'm pretty lazy. If it's something important like a sponge cake or something like that, then I will sift, but this type of thing you don't need to. So we're going to put 2 of these in, 2.5. 1. 2. Coming together, and then we'll just have a half of that as well. And then I'll just turn it up a little bit just to mix it all together so it picks up all of the flour. And I usually do that so that it will combine it all properly. And once you see it starting to come off the bottom or the sides of the thing and join into one lump on the actual mixing paddle, then it's ready. So that's pretty good. I'll just show you. See how it's all combined and it's all sitting on top of this paddle? It feels nice and soft. We'll just get that off. Smells amazing. And then we have our dough. So I can just pull that off around the sides. It's nice and easy and it combines into a ball of dough, which you'll then pop onto the bench. You don't need to put flour on the bench. If you keep adding flour, like I roll these out, I'll show you later on, in between baking paper, and I don't put flour on the bench because the more flour that you keep adding to it, the drier the cookie's going to become. So we just want to keep it as it is. And so that's the nice ball of cookie dough. My kids love that. And then we're going to just halve that. I just put my hand down the middle and halve it, and then I'll pop some Glad wrap over that, and we'll pop them in the fridge. And they need to sit in the fridge for a couple of hours before you actually go to roll them out and use them. And then we'll get on to the next bit, which will show you rolling out the cookies and how to make them perfect in the oven. Okay, so I thought I'd show you from above angle as well in making the dough, so you can just see what it's like. So we've mixed up the butter and now we're mixing the sugar in with that. So butter and sugar together until it forms a nice pale fluffy colour. So there you can see the difference there from the first lot. So that's nice and fluffy. And so we're going to add the eggs in is the next round. Okay, so we're going to add the eggs in one at a time. So let that mix in as much as you can. I find with the single batch you're going to have to scrape down the sides in between the eggs so that you can get all the butter mixture mixed in with the egg. So beat it up till it's all nice and combined, and then you're going to add in the flour just slowly. This is where I can make a bit of a mess sometimes, so just take it a little bit slow in putting it in so that it's not just all puffing out at the top when you've plonked it in there. And so you're going to add that, and then you'll get to the end of adding in all of your flour, and it should start when I actually turn it up a little bit higher until it all combines in from the side. You'll see in a minute, so that you can actually see the bottom of the actual bowl. So see here, and now it's starting to grab hold of each other, like it all forms into more of a dough and it becomes smoother on the bottom. That's what you want. And then you're going to lift it up and scrape off the dough. And it should be really soft but not sticky. So if it's too sticky, then you add a little bit more flour. So then you're going to scrape down the sides and you're going to pop that onto the bench and just knead it together a little bit, but not overdoing it because we don't want to over knead the dough. So just popping it more into a ball, and then you can divide it in half and you can pop Glad wrap on them and pop them in the fridge for a couple of hours at least to see how they go. Yeah, so they should be firm up after a couple of hours. You can't roll this out while it's still soft, so make sure it is firm. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the dough as it comes out of the fridge. So I've had mine sitting there overnight, so it's rock hard, really hard. So you wouldn't be able to roll that out if you just got it out of the fridge straight away. So you need to just let it sit to get to a little bit of a room temperature. You want it to still be firm, but not hard to roll out. You can pop them in the microwave, but you just have to be really careful because they go soft pretty quickly. So I just do it in 10-second increments and then just have a little feel. And then we'll get to and roll these out soon and I'll show you what we're making.